Why do so many people feel busy all the time, yet somehow stay in the exact same place? That question matters more than most people realize. From the outside, it can look like progress, but sometimes you're just running hard without actually moving forward. You hit the same wall again and again. Different day, same frustration, same result. A lot of people don't live New Year's. They live the same year over and over with different dates on the calendar. They work, scroll, react, and repeat. But deep down, they know something isn't changing. At some point, the real question shows up. Is life the problem, or is my way of handling life the problem? That's where Ray Dalio's big idea becomes powerful. If you want better results, you need better principles. A principle is just a rule that helps you deal with reality better. It gives your mind something stronger than mood or impulse. Instead of reacting every time life gets messy, you begin to think more clearly. You start building reliable rules. That could be something simple like, when I feel emotional, I don't make big decisions. Small rules can save big damage. Most people reach a choice point all the time. React fast or pause and think. Beginners usually live in reaction mode. The phone buzzes, stress hits, and their attention gets pulled everywhere. But growth starts when you slow down enough to look at what's actually happening. You stop guessing and start observing. Problems may look random at first. A missed deadline, a mess, a bad decision, another frustrating day. Then, one day, you notice something important. It's not random anymore. It's a pattern. This is where many people stay stuck. They confuse effort with progress. They're tired, they're trying, but they're not learning. And effort without reflection can trap you for years. So the better move is to inspect the problem, not just feel it, not just complain about it. Study it. Ask yourself a tougher question. What am I not seeing? That one question can open a whole new level of growth. Because the goal is not to be dramatic about your life. The goal is to become accurate about it. When you start seeing clearly, it feels like putting on better lenses. Suddenly, what looked confusing starts making sense. You notice repeated habits, repeated choices, repeated emotional reactions. And that's where change becomes possible. Dalio says something simple but powerful. Embrace reality and deal with it. That sounds easy, but emotionally it's hard. Because a lot of people don't fight reality with logic. They fight it with resistance. They avoid what's true because truth can feel uncomfortable. But avoiding reality never makes it smaller. The moment you face what's real, you gain power. Not because the problem disappears, but because now you can finally work with it. Many beginners do something else instead. They hide problems, delay them, or pretend they're not serious. But hidden problems grow. What you ignore today usually becomes heavier tomorrow. And when you finally look underneath, it's often much bigger than it needed to be. That's the cost of denial. Now, this doesn't mean becoming negative. It means becoming accurate. If your results keep dropping, that's not an insult. It's information. Dalio wants you to think of life more like a machine. Results come from systems, habits, and repeated decisions. If you change the gear called habits, the gear called results starts moving differently. That's a hopeful idea. Your beliefs matter. Your choices matter. Your environment matters. They all work together to produce your current life. So, when something is broken, don't just call yourself broken. Look for the part of the system that needs repair. That's a healthier temperament for growth. Less self-hate, more honest diagnosis. And once a better system is in place, better outcomes stop feeling magical. They start feeling understandable. One of the best beginner lessons is this: write your principles down. Vague lessons fade, but written lessons stay. A rule like, when stressed, pause, may sound small, but in real life, it can completely change your decisions. Over time, you build a personal operating system, a set of rules you can actually trust. That makes you less reactive. You don't have to invent wisdom in the middle of every emotional moment. And here's the real test: what mistake keeps showing up in your life? If it's happened more than once, maybe it's time to turn that mistake into a principle. That's how growth compounds. This is what mature progress looks like. Not pretending you're perfect, but learning in a reusable way. So, pause for a second and be honest. What repeated mistake still has no rule attached to it? Maybe it's rushing decisions. Maybe it's trusting too fast. Maybe it's quitting when things get uncomfortable. Whatever it is, the lesson is sitting right there. You just have to stop walking past it. The moment a repeated mistake becomes a clear principle, your future starts to change. And this applies everywhere: work, money, health, relationships, confidence. Patterns shape outcomes. That's why this book resonates so deeply. It reminds you that many problems are not random. They come from how you think. That can feel humbling. But it's also good news, because thinking can be improved. You always have a choice between comfort and growth. Comfort protects your feelings. Growth improves your life. Opening that growth door can feel scary at first. It asks you to face what's true. But once you step through, life gets clearer. You stop living by accident. Now you're moving with direction, not just motion. That's a huge difference. So the lesson from this first part is simple. Face reality, study the pattern, and build better rules. But once you start doing that, another problem appears: your ego. Because sometimes the biggest thing keeping us stuck is not ignorance. It's the part of us that hates being wrong. We want to look good, sound smart, and protect our image. And that can block real growth. In part 2, we'll talk about pain, ego, and why growth often begins exactly where your pride gets uncomfortable.